Hey! A few weeks ago, I made a poll on YouTube asking you guys what would be the better option. Make a video on each Midnight Club game, skip the first, or skip both first and second games. You guys decided that a video for every game would be the better option. But looking through the comments, I also noticed a lot of people saying that the first game isn't really good but should be worth a mention, so I decided to play for myself and see. Here's the thing. I'll be talking about the first two games in this video, but if you don't want to hear about the first game, I'll leave one of those YouTube chapter thingies under here so you can skip it. It won't be long and you will see why, but I thought it would be nice to at least talk a little bit about the first game that started it all. Midnight Club Street Racing. I'd never touched this game in my life. And after a few hours looking for the PC version of this game, I noticed that it only came out on the PS2 and on the Game Boy Advance. I really wasn't sure what to expect from this game. I didn't know anything about it and never even cared to research it to see how it was. So I was really going into this one completely blind. From what I understand, at the beginning of the game you are a taxi driver, and after someone talks crap to you, you decide to follow him around. I was super confused at this point in the game. It feels absolutely nothing like Midnight Club, and I followed this guy for 5 minutes not understanding what I had to do. I even tried crashing his car, which didn't work, because really you just have to keep up with him to the start of the race. The races in this game are what you would expect from Midnight Club. You have an open road with checkpoints that you have to follow, but you can't take whatever path you want. The game takes place in two different places, New York and London. New York is actually very good looking, in the Times Square. Other places are hardly recognizable, at least for me. And all the ads are concentrated in the Times Square, so that's what it stands out. I would tell you about London, but I didn't play the game for that long, and there's a reason for that. The gameplay is really not what I expected. Cars handle nothing like the other games, but more physics-based, which of course leads to weird things happening in the gameplay. Yeah. The game does not feel very good to play. The cars sometimes just decide to turn somewhere and screw you. It's not gonna turn the other way until you hit something. And while the level design isn't too bad, the races made for this game are sometimes just awful. Oh look, here's a race where you have to turn into every block back and forth until you reach the end. Very fun. The game was released in the year 2000, pretty early in the PS2's life, and it looks pretty good for when it came out. Car models look above average, with the damage models being very detailed, and it even has some ragdoll physics. I'm a sucker for ragdoll physics this early in gaming, so I'll give it a pass. I will, however, have to give some props to whoever voiced Emilio in this game. He definitely put his heart on the project.
I'm the deer, baby. I'm a little foot drop right over your butt. I'm coming right behind you. I'm right behind you, Papa.
I ended up skipping the second half of this game because I understood the gameplay loop and it was just gonna keep repeating itself until the end. You race someone, then race them for their car, then race the next opponent with the last opponent's car. That's all there is to this one. It really doesn't feel like a fleshed out game, but more like a tech demo of the engine, which in the end I believe isn't even the same as the other games, considering they don't feel anything like each other. And for Midnight Club 2, I didn't have the highest expectations for this one. I did play this game a little bit on a cyber cafe once, but only 1 or 2 races and didn't care much because it had no customization, and that turned me off after playing the third game. So getting into this one was like, I'll give it a fair chance and try to have some fun with it. After finishing this game, let me tell you, I was missing out on a great game. The game has this overall sci-fi feel to it that I ended up liking after playing it for a while. The menus look like something early Microsoft made for the original Xbox. The story starts with you reading someone's mind, and for some reason that's a thing throughout the whole game. You race someone, read their minds, they say something, and you race again. The characters have that distinct 2000s look to them, being very exaggerated in their proportions, making this one look like a pudding, for example. Careful playing this around your mom. The game itself looks way better. It seems like this one was made in a whole different engine, and it really shows. While the last game looked like a tech demo, this one looked and played like an actual game. Like 10 steps ahead of the last game. The game feels more arcadey and responsive, which is great, though again, there are no licensed cars in this one. They do, however, look very different than the last game. They have this glossy paint look to them, which really adds to the sci-fi feel of the game, and one of the reasons I thought this game was weird as a kid. You have a bigger selection of cars, some being based on real life cars, like the Knight, which really looks like a Lancer, or the RSMC-15, which looks like a 350Z. Not only that, but there are 3 cities in this game: Los Angeles, Paris, and Tokyo. And you'll only see the imports in Japan, so for example, the Psycho, which looks like a Supra, or the others I mentioned, will only be available when you get to Japan. Talking about being available, you don't actually buy cars in this game. You start with the starter car and race against other people for their cars. And after you win, you're free to pick any of the cars you own. Or bikes. The new addition to this game is bikes. You can hold the L1 button to move the left analog down to do a wheelie and get to top speed faster, which does seem overpowered because it makes the acceleration extremely high, but you do have the disadvantage of being able to fall off the bike, which you will do a lot if you rather drive bikes. I wasn't the biggest fan. Throughout the game, you will unlock some different stuff, like the classic Midnight Club driving in 2 wheels thing. However, it does not feel very useful in this game. If I remember correctly, it doesn't feel very useful in any of the games, but this one especially won't do you any good. Flipping your car takes way too long, so most of the time you'll just end up hitting something anyway. And while it does increase your acceleration for a bit, as soon as you drop down, you get a huge slowdown, so it's kinda useless in this game. You also unlock burnouts, which you can do by holding R1 and accelerating. It supposedly should give you a better start in the beginning of races and help you recover after a crash, but honestly I didn't see much of a difference with it. It also lets you change the direction of your car while doing it, but it takes so long to turn that you're probably better drifting around. The music in this one also got an upgrade. It seems to have a set playlist to each track, so for example, in the first few minutes you'll hear the Midnight Club 2 theme song in the radio, and each other race has its own song. But you can change to some other songs if you don't enjoy whatever this is. I don't think there are licensed songs, at least I didn't know any of the bands in the game, but I could be wrong about that. It does sound pretty good most of the time and I actually liked it, but I wouldn't say it'll stay with you for life. Of course, it wouldn't be a 2000s racing game without some frustration, and let me tell you, by the end of the game it gets extremely frustrating. After you get to Japan, they try throwing you a bit of a story in the game, with the cute Japanese girl liking you and then making a deal with the Yakuza and getting screwed in it, and you have to race them to help her. After that you have to race the Tokyo champ, which apparently is also the head of Yakuza. The game is pretty weird. But after you defeat him, you'll also have to fight the world champion, who for some reason has an eye patch. Holy crap. One of the last races in this game is an unordered race, which means you can get the checkpoints in whatever order you want and then race to the final one. The problem is there are only 4 checkpoints in each edge of the map, but the traffic in this game only renders where you are, which means the AI can simply roam the whole city without any car in sight. And that makes so they can complete the race extremely fast while you have to avoid a lot of traffic during this race. This one took me so long to beat and I was ready to throw my controller through the window. Not that other Midnight Clubs didn't have frustrating races, but this one was definitely something special. Seeing the cars roam in front of you without a problem while traffic just appeared between you and them was the biggest fuck you I got in a while. I cannot explain the satisfaction I got after winning this race though. You just gotta play for yourself. This game was honestly a lot of fun. It is exactly what you would expect from a 2000s racing game with good controls, decent graphics, a lot of cars, satisfying gameplay, and a lot of frustrating moments that lead your victory afterwards feeling like kissing your mom. Me kissing your mom, not you. Take this as word of advice from me, and if you never played this game, give it a try. It is worth it. But anyway, I guess that's it for this one. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like. And don't forget to tell me how you feel about the game. Have you played it before? If so, did you enjoy it? And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Take care.